We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Ping Pong Theater Ed. I haven't talked to Ed in a while.
Yeah.
Ed has noticed the LED on his SVS PC2000 stays blue all the time, even though he has it set to auto standby. He'd rather have it turned off, but is it actually anything to be concerned about? He bought it through the outlet as an open box item, so could this be related? I thought about this for a while, and honestly, I would, if it were me, and I'll tell you, if it is me, it irritates me to not see that blue light on. Like if I walk by and the green light is on, which means it's in the standby mode or whatever it is, I'm like, I wonder if it's going to turn blue when it, and then I have to get up and check to see if the blue light came on, and then I have to touch the sub to make sure it's playing. I just set all my subs to be on all the time. And I just don't think they don't consume. They have Class D amps in them. They don't consume that much power in idle and standby or whatever they are. Idle, just not doing anything. They don't really consume that much power. So I just not worry about it and go on with my life. Put a little black.
There's another thing that he mentions next, though, that actually I think might be the reason that the light never turns away.
All right, he says while testing the issue, he noticed a low hum when powering the sub on and off. Should he be concerned about this? He still has the box and could return it to SVS, but being subless while waiting for repairs to process him. Well, if you're hearing a low hum, what that means is that you're getting a signal from your source, which is probably your receiver, and that low hum is telling is sending a signal to your sub. This may mean that what you need to do is turn the volume dial on your sub up and the trim level on your receiver down. Could be.
Yep.
And
yeah, because he asked in his email, he's like, should the sub be, like when everything else is turned off, should the sub be silent or is it normal to have a little bit of hum? On other subs, it's not uncommon to have a little bit of hum all the time, but on SVS subs, it should be dead silent.
Yeah.
Every SVS sub I've ever come across, when it's not being fed a signal, it is dead silent. There is no residual hum coming out of that thing. It does really make me think that there's some extra signal for some reason that's constantly being fed to your sub. It might not be your sub's fault, but SVS's customer service is fantastic. And all they do is troubleshoot stuff all day.
Look at your receiver trim levels first.
Yeah.
Okay? And if they're set up very high, back them down. Recalibrate your subs, meaning you're going to turn your volume subs in the back of your subs up until it's whatever your receiver tells you to do it, and then try it again. It could be that you've just got the trim levels on your receiver too high. It's sending a signal. Your sub is saying, "Oh, I'm getting a signal. It's a little one, but I gotta be on for it because I gotta play it because I'm SVS, and people will be mad if Tom is gonna be very angry." If he walks by and that green light's still on, so I better play this tone even though it's really, really low. And I think that might solve your problem there too. He also purchased an open box Denon AVR X1200W to take advantage of Dolby Atmos, and he has not been disappointed, so that's great. However, he's considering moving it to the family room to replace his old Denon 710 he has in there. If he does, do we think he would notice any difference in the theater by stepping up to a Denon AVR X4200W or a Marantz SR6010 over the X1200? Well, do we remember his theater is like super duper small, right?
No, it wasn't super duper small because he had the ping pong table.
The ping pong table. I was thinking of the other guy who sent us the video. There's Odyssey version differences I'm imagining between these two. So that there should be some differences. I don't remember what your speakers are. Honestly, so the two ways you will notice a difference from switching receivers like this is A, if you bump up in Odyssey versions, your room correction should become better, and therefore your theater should sound better, theoretically. And B is if you're in a very big room, you go from a small receiver to a bigger receiver, and or even if you're in a small room and your speakers are struggling in some way. Therefore, the amplifiers in your receiver are not keeping up. you're trying to play too loud, it's too big of a room, the speakers are particularly power hungry. Those are the two ways I see that you could experience a sonic difference. In your case, I think the Odyssey will make a theoretical difference. It depends on how treated your room is, how good your room is to begin with. I don't know. Will it be noticeable? Probably a little bit. Will it be enough for you to say, wow, I definitely feel like I got my money's worth here? My guess would be, if you were me, you'd be like, dude, I don't know, man. I was fine before.
It's pretty small. Yeah, there's two significant differences, which is the step up in Odyssey to multi-Q XT32 and the ability to go to 5.1.4.
Okay.
Or 5.2.4, in fact, because, of course, the AVR X1200 tops out at 5.2.2. Right. So if you were to add the extra set of ceiling speakers and turn your Atmos system into 5.2.4, that's a very significant change versus what you were able to do before. Of course, you would need, at a minimum, a separate two-channel amplifier with either the X4200 or the Marantz SR6010. Both of those have 7 amps built in, but can process 9 speakers for 5.2.4. If you're not going to do that, and the only real difference is going to be multi-Q XT32, yeah, I agree with Tom. You might, maybe even probably will hear some difference, but I'm not going to tell you it's night and day. It's not some massive change that you're going to hear. So mostly, I would say the reason to get either of those models would be that you're going to add the extra pair of overhead speakers for Atmos. That's a big, significant difference that I can say would be worth it.
Yeah. I think in the end you'll be like, I don't know. Another option.
Given the price on that 6010 is $700 at Accessories for Less, that's really not bad.
Well, I mean, it's still $700, dude.
It's still $700, but I'm just saying it's not the $1,500 it used to be to go to Atmos, Right. So it's pretty good.
So another option is replacing the receiver in the family room with a sound bar, which would make things simpler for the family to use. Are there any sound bars with Atmos that would let him connect his own sub? He still has his old Boston PV700 and believes it would be better than most subs, included with sound bars. So he wants to use his Boston sub with his whatever sound bar. Atmos sound bars.
A bunch got announced at CES,
but they're not going to be available yet. There's a couple that are out there right now, and I would imagine most of them would allow you to connect your own sub.
Well, a lot of them are the wireless subwoofer, so they don't necessarily have a dedicated sub out.
That stinks.
It's that.
The manufacturer I always recommend for sound bars, if you can afford it, which would probably be more expensive than buying an actual receiver, would be a Yamaha digital sound projector. You don't want to get one of their sound bars because it's just another sound bar, but digital sound projectors, the good ones, the bigger ones. But those
not only that, they're
1,000.
about the only one that, in addition to Atmos, also does DTS-X. Because a whole bunch of the Atmos soundbars
apparently nobody at CES
Atmos.
does DTS-X either. So
That's right.
Who cares?
But
it also does Oro 3D. It also does that.
Well,
not that anybody can tell because no one would know. What else does it do? It does PSBXRT. It's a new thing. You haven't heard of it.
Yamaha
lives in Canada.
The Yamaha YSP 5600 does both Atmos and DTS-X. It's $1,500, so it's twice the price of getting an SR6010 and then some. You'd be better off getting the new receiver for your theater and moving your X1200 into the family room. Although
why does it just buy another X1200? I mean, if that's what can you get another X1200?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe in the back of his mind he wants to go to 5.2.4.
That's fine if that's what he wants to do. That's fine. But yeah, you're right. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you really want to get a good sound bar, that's a good sound bar. Yamaha's make the digital sound projectors are fantastic.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Samsung has an Atmos one. But it actually has separate wireless surround speakers and it has the wireless sub. He couldn't connect his existing one to. By the way, you could connect your existing Boston to this Yamaha. It has just a subwoofer output, regular plug on the back of the thing, so no problem connecting a regular sub to it. But yeah, the Samsung is also $1,500. Sony just announced one at CES. It's $1,200. So
it's
yeah,
the Atmos thing that's killing you right there.
the Samsung and the Sony, neither of those do DTS-X at all. So really, it's only the Yamaha. But yeah, $1,500, that's a lot of money. So yeah, there you go.
But as a soundbar that can actually give you a convincing surround effect, Yamaha, in my opinion, is pretty much the best.
Oh yeah.
I haven't experienced anything that even comes close. Everything else is just that phase crap, which
Yep.
and Yamaha can do that too. If you're into it, that their soundbars will do it. It's just they also have the bouncing things around your room thing, which is way, I think, superior. So I don't know, dude. Let us know what you do. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.